To properly splice wires or cables, we will need the right equipment and tools such as crimping pliers, heat gun, crimp connectors, and these Wago connectors. You can also use common tools that you just have at home, like plumbing pliers, lighter, and duct tape. Everything will probably work, but whether it's correct is questionable. Let's break this down and start with the cables. We'll connect the two cables as if they were never split. We use this type of clamps in cable repair even for heavy load operations, and so far there has never been a problem with them. So let's begin! We strip the cable so that the insulation subsequently covers all the conductor cores and extends to the outer insulation of the cable. On one cable we strip a longer piece. We will need it to be able to put the insulation on the wires later. On the other cable we strip less so that the outer insulation subsequently covers the entire exposed conductors. Strip the wire to a length so that the copper stripped part does not stick out too much from the metal butt splice. I'll repeat myself, but remember before crimping the second cable to put on insulation for the cable and also separately for the wires themselves. Now let's give it a little test to see what the tensile strength is. I exert considerable force and everything seems to hold together. The only thing left to do is to use the heat gun to seal the insulation on the wires and on the cable. The insulation should have no places where air can be trapped, and there should be glue oozing out at the ends. It is therefore a good idea to start heating from the middle and work towards to the ends. A little tip: if you are splicing wires that are aluminum, be very careful with what force you are crimping. If you overdo it, there is a good chance that the wire will break and you may not even notice it right away. The joint we have just made is, as you can see, solid as new. Let's move on to residential junction boxes and splicing the wires in those. They work on the principle of sticking a copper wire into the holes, and they are pressed with a small, so to say, knife or push clamp inside. Such connections, if the installation is healthy and unstressed, will last for decades. If you are not sure if the wiring is in good condition, this is what the regular inspections are for at least every 5 years. Inserting the wires is very easy, and it is the simplest solution we can find today. When pulling it out, a little twisting and applying more effort is needed. Another type of Wago connectors are connectors with these levers. Unlike the previous type, which can only be used on solid wire, this type is a great thing for all types of wires, especially stranded wire or aluminum wire. After insertion, the wires hold in the connector perfectly, and pulling them out is no effort. And next, if you don't like yourself, wires can also be connected using Barier terminal blocks. They are not nearly as convenient as a Wago, and you have to be careful how hard you tighten the wires. Sometimes a smaller screw will push on the wire enough to damage it. This is especially a problem with stranded wires, where you lose a contactor with each tightening. It is more than advisable to always use a butt splice on the stranded wire if you connect it via Barier terminal blocks. Thank you for attention. If you like the video, don't be afraid to hit the like button and consider subscribe. I'll catch you around.